Let's set the scene for a second. When it comes to how we see ourselves as designers, how we measure each other, we always say it's about the work. It's about the ideas, the execution, your eye, your voice. That's what matters, right? But here's what I've noticed. You'll be at a conference or in a job interview and someone casually drops that they went to RISD or SVA or Parsons, and suddenly the energy shifts. People nod a little harder. They listen a little closer. Like that school name somehow makes the work more legitimate. That's the part we don't always talk about, that quiet prestige bias, that unspoken double standard. So today we're gonna talk about it because I don't care if you went to RISD, Utah-State, or the University of Wisconsin at Stout. It doesn't matter where you went to design school. Today we're talking about why school names still carry weight, even if they shouldn't, what design school is actually supposed to give you, and why great design can come from anywhere. Whether you're picking a program mid-career or mentoring someone younger, this is the video for you. But before we get into it, be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment, and of course, by subscribing. This is Ziggy the Designer, the show where we talk about the world of graphic design and the people who make it move. Design is all around us, so we might as well talk about it. So there's a reason that schools like RISD, SCAD, and even SAIC here in Chicago carry so much weight. They've been around for forever. Their alumni are in big, prestigious jobs. They're in New York, LA, London, right? Their logos are sharp. The campus buildings are sexy. Their brochures are all in Helvetica, and they're comprised of complicated SAT words. And let's be honest, right? That prestige is a product. It's branding, it's marketing, it looks like success. So when you're applying to schools or scrolling LinkedIn and seeing someone from one of the top design programs, it's easy to let that imposter syndrome creep in a little bit. You start asking, did I go to the right school? Will recruiters take me seriously? Am I going to fall behind because I went to a state school? And those feelings, they're real. They're baked into how this industry talks about education. But here's what we really need to talk about. School is just the beginning. The name, it fades, but the work, it sticks. Because the real question isn't about where you went to school. It's about what you can do. So then what is design school for then? It's not about prestige. It's not a name you can drop at networking events. School is where you're supposed to build your foundation. It's where you learn to think critically, get real-time feedback, mess up in front of people who care, right? It's where you can experiment, fail, and rebuild. It's where you develop your own taste. It's where you learn how to talk about your work. And let me be clear, right? I went to school for graphic design. I went to the University of Minnesota at Duluth, a small state school in northern Minnesota. Not a name that turns heads, not a school that pops up in best design programs lists, but that school gave me the tools. It gave me the foundation. It taught me how to show up for critique. It taught me how to rebuild after feedback. It taught me how to think like a designer. That's where the actual value is. Not the name on the diploma, but the experience you get out of it. And I've seen students from big name design schools coast, do the bare minimum, rely on their brand name school to carry their resume. And I've seen students from lesser known programs putting in real work, building deep portfolios, learning new tools, going beyond the brief. That is who wins. And let me make this personal. I went to UMD. I went to the University of Minnesota Duluth, a small public school that, let's be honest, right, most recruiters and so-called well-traveled creative directors probably couldn't find on a map. But here's what that degree led to. I'm about 4 years out of school. I graduated in 2021. I have worked on campaigns with Target. I've worked with Luxottica, the big glasses conglomerate. I've worked with their team out in Milan. My work in design research is archived at Stanford University, and now I'm a designer at the largest airline in the world. All of that from a small state school in northern Minnesota. No famous professors, no prestigious network, no name drop at agency mixers, just the work. Just the discipline, just the drive. And I share that not to flex, right? I share that to prove the point. Your school name doesn't define your ceiling. I've seen incredible work come out of places like the University of Wisconsin Stout, Portland State, and the University of Cincinnati. Students who don't just make pretty slides, they solve problems, right? They communicate ideas, they really get it. And yet, there are still people in this industry who quietly, or not so quietly, act like private East Coast art schools are the gold standard. Like, you're not legit until you have a RISD sticker on your laptop. And let me be honest, right? That mindset, that quiet favoritism, that is not just outdated, that is straight up classist. I mean, we don't always call it that, right? Your creative directors love to sugarcoat it, but that's what it is. Because when we overvalue expensive degrees, we undervalue the people who couldn't afford them. Design doesn't belong to the elite. It belongs to the ones who show up and do the work. And again, great design talent comes from everywhere. So here's what I want you to take from this. It's not about the name of your school. It's about the body of your work. Your degree doesn't have to say SVA. It can say SUNY. It can say Duluth. It can say Montana State for all I care. If your work is strong, if your eye is sharp, if your voice is distinct, you belong here in this industry. Don't get distracted by the BS branding of academia. Don't let imposter syndrome creep in just because someone else has a more prestigious background. Because if we're being real, the only prestige that matters here is your portfolio. The industry is changing, slowly, yes, but it's happening. The gatekeeping is getting louder, but so are the voices that are pushing back. And if you're out here doing the work, showing your growth, building your taste, crafting real ideas, then your school name doesn't define you. You do. But how do you feel about design school in 2025? Does the name still matter? Have you seen this prestige mindset in action, or are you proudly repping your non-famous program and proving people wrong every single day? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's all I have for you. Be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, subscribing, and sharing this one out. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's that 1, I love design, and 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.